Today's topic, you guys might be confused by the title, but I will explain. The reason why we haven't covered Palestine or haven't spoken about Palestine is because I have nothing insightful.
Because we don't care. Because we don't care. I'm just kidding.
I have nothing insightful to say about Palestine. So I don't want to talk about the situation in Israel and Palestine because I have nothing insightful to say. And if I have nothing insightful to say, I'm going to just shut the fuck up. I'm not going to do some random video for views. But since you guys have been harassing us, constantly flooding us, telling us if we don't do it, we're bad people. If we don't blah, 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 this or that. I'm going to say this. Stop looking to celebrities to speak on every political issue you care about. We're not your mouthpiece, one. And two, we're not the right people to speak about most of this shit. Neither are most celebrities. They don't know fuck all. You're talking about a dude who never graduated from high school and another guy over here who barely got his college education, okay? And as far as like did you?
What do you mean barely? Bro, 2 semesters, not even barely. It's not like I didn't even start.
You barely started.
Barely started. That's better. Okay. Barely finished? Wow, that's a lot of props for nothing.
But I've been getting all this and people were like, well, why wouldn't you educate yourself? Because I don't want to. Well, why wouldn't you want to? You don't care about kids dying? Do you care about kids dying in Myanmar? Do you care about kids dying in Tibet? Do you care about kids dying in Ukraine? Do you care about kids dying in Hong Kong? Do you care about kids dying in Venezuela, Colombia, Ethiopia? I didn't cover any of those, but most of y'all had nothing to say for a lot of those issues, right? But when it's something that touches you or you're close to, if I don't speak about it, I'm a trash person.
Yep.
You could have this argument for everything. Sudan, cancer, obesity, all this stuff. I could clamor here. And if you don't talk about it, if you feel powerless because of this issue, that's not me to bear the brunt of your powerlessness. It's not on me to bear the brunt of your feeling of inadequacy. You lashing out at me is unproductive.
It's not going to solve the issue.
You know what else is unproductive? Me trying to speak on something I have no knowledge about and have very little interest in. Oh, maybe this is not PC enough. Are there kids dying? It's like, I'm not interested in talking about it. And guess what? Every human being has to pick their battles. And this is yours. And if it's yours, great. If you want to be invested, great. Go ahead. But don't come at me just because I haven't said something and try to infer something about my character. I don't go to everyone who didn't post BLM and be like, you're trash, you're this, you're that. I don't go to everyone who didn't support what was going on within Ethiopia right now and go, you're this, you're that. But then you think you can come and talk about someone else's character because they didn't talk about something that touches you. And for me, the reason why I want to bring this up is I think this goes back to a larger issue. Stop looking towards these celebrities and empowering them when it comes to public discourse. The power lies in you, the individual people. You guys should be educating yourself. You guys should be creating movements. You guys should be creating boycotts, doing that kind of work. Don't look towards those powerful folks because the more power you give them, the more they can use that to fuck you over in the future. Celebrities, influencers, whatever the you want to call them, okay? You should not be giving it to them to speak on your issues, to give power to the things that you're going through. Because if you constantly look to them, you are going to be disappointed so often in your life, and you're often going to feel powerless. So go handle it. Go do what you got to do, all right? A bunch of creators reached out to me. People say, talk about Palestine. Most of them have zero education about geopolitical situations. They have zero idea of the West Bank. They can't even find it on a map. But you want them to give their opinion. But what's the point of me giving an unnuanced opinion on such a complex issue? What's the point? I add nothing to the conversation. And I don't make my viewers any more informed. Now, if you guys want resources where you guys can go, there's a lot better YouTube channels to cover this kind of topics. But you're talking about 2 guys who made a video recently about dick jokes and fucking, 2 guys going on a date with a lesbian. Like,
you're moving mad, blood.
No, you're moving mad. You gotta say it correctly.
You're moving mad.
Like a proper Batman.
No, the thing is this. You're Ethiopian. There's something that happened in Ethiopia recently.
Yep. I mean, still happening.
Still happening to this day. And I'm Haitian. Something is happening right now in Haiti. We didn't speak on that. Sometimes there's nothing more that we're going to be able to add. I don't care if you say like, yo, talk about Palestine. I don't care about that. I don't care about that whenever people come up to that. But when you start to be like, you keep being silent about that and this and that, and you're trying to lecture me on things that I do not talk about, is not understanding what we do here. If we're able to add to the conversation, we will. And for anybody else, should take that advice. If I can't add anything else to the conversation, or what you said has already been said, when you have those round tables and everybody speak. Or you have those discussion panels. There's a question that is asked. One person on the panel says something, and then another person says the same thing that the first person said, but slightly different. Then the third person says it, but slightly different. Then another person. Yo, when the first person that said the message said it in a clear way, it doesn't help anything.
Just say I agree and move on.
To this, right now, I could say a whole lot more. But because Abba spoke a whole lot about that and said what I wanted to say, I'm going to end it there. Because I'm just going to be repeating what he said in a different tone.
You know, it's funny when celebrities speak on certain topics, a lot of people say, shut up, you don't know what you're talking about. Go back to dribbling, or go back to this, or go back to that. Right? It's common, isn't it?
Yeah.
Especially if you don't know what it is that you're talking about. There's a lot of virtue signaling out there. Okay?
Definitely.
A lot of people trying to say, this is who you are because you didn't care about something I care about. But we can apply that logic to any situation in this world. So just be mindful that, listen, I don't think what's happening is good. I don't think that it's not necessarily tragedy. I don't think that there isn't one side that's more wrong than the other. I agree with a lot of those sentiments. But I also don't want to talk about it. That's it. Maybe that's not PC. Maybe that's not the right thing to say. Whatever. I don't really care, to be honest with you. It's how I feel. So I'm going to be honest with you guys about that. And if you say I don't want to support Abbott Preacher and subscribe, go ahead. There's nothing wrong with that. Right? If you guys say Abbott Preacher not vegan, I won't. Bye. We don't have to talk about the same topics. We don't have to care about the same things. There's plenty of things I care about that a lot of y'all don't give a shit about. And that's okay. So let's not get up here. If you guys want to, there's great resources. You guys can go to Secular Talk. You guys can go to Rising. You guys can go to RT. There's a lot of different news outlets who've done great videos on this conflict, who would be far better set to educate you guys and to help you understand where you should stand than me and Preach.
Phil DeFranco.
I mean, I don't know too much about him and his news reporting, but there's options. There's a lot of options. But we're not your mouthpiece. We don't have an opinion on everything. And we don't have to speak on everything. Okay?
No, we don't.
All right? So stop this whole, like, you guys need to speak on this. If you don't, this whole thing, every time something bad happens, like, stop. It's cringy. And it just reflects poorly on you because you're externalizing your own inadequacies. When I got issues and I got problems that I'm dealing with that I think are really important, you know what I don't do? I don't go out here and tell you guys what you should care about. I made the same top point when the Black Lives Matter stuff happened. Remember when some people didn't post the black square and the black folks got mad at white people or other people who didn't post it? You don't support us. What good is this kind of rhetoric? So that's just how I am. I think now more than ever, people like bandages. They like band-aids on their problems. They think that if they did something like that,
it doesn't solve shit.
Exactly. And it's just like, I'm not here for that. So if you want me to help, cool. I'll stop performing at bar mitzvahs. I'll go support my local shawarma shop, eat a couple extra baklavas on Ramadan, but I'm not doing all this extra stuff. So you asking the wrong man. That's all I got. Is there anything else you want to say about this?
No.
All right. And that, free Palestine. Deuces.
Bomber drop.